Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. For today's pick a card reading, we have more of a general message, but with a very special theme that's close to my heart, and I hope close to your hearts as well, which, as you can see by the title down below, is Urgent Guidance Delivered by Nature. So what that means is I ask Spirit to send us messages today that's most important for you to hear right now at the time that you view the video, but we're going to break out all of my nature decks and have your message delivered by aspects of nature, just because I love nature. You can tell by the channel theme and aesthetic, right? Lone Pine, right? But also I feel like nature is really good about delivering messages gently. I even have my, plaid flannel shirt on today to help emphasize the outdoorsy vibe, because it's springtime and the earth is waking up, and what a more perfect time of year to break out more nature-themed things, right? So anyways, without further ado, let's pick our piles. For pile number 1s over here, I have the Dolphins and Sunshine with Happiness. For my lovely pile number 2s, I have the Holy Spring. It looks like sakura blossoms or cherry blossoms, or it could even be apple blossoms, I'm not sure, with the Yellow Bird of Blessings. And for my lovely pile number 3s, we have the Misty Alpine Lake with Illumination. Some mist, fog. So just to reiterate, pile 1s, happiness, pile 2s, blessings, and pile number 3 is illumination. Feel free to meditate on these piles, see which one calls the most to you, take a deep breath, look at each one at a time, see what kind of tugs at your heartstrings. Either way, whenever you are ready, the timestamps will be down, as always, in the description box below and or the top pinned comment at the top of the comment section beneath the video. Click on the timestamp for your reading, and I will see you in our discussion about urgent guidance delivered by nature. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 1s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of urgent guidance delivered by nature. As you recall, your pile leader you used to pick your pile today was Happiness. We have the dolphins riding the wave with sunshine up in the top left corner. Perfect symbolism of happiness, right? Leaping out of the waters, feeling the sunshine, bright colors. Okay. So we'll expand on this more, of course, later. As always, we're going to put our pile leader down by the pine cone on the left. And then I have some oracle cards I already drew for you. And then we're going to use my nature-themed tarot for the great outdoors today. I use this a lot in my readings. You've probably seen it before. But I'm going to ask Spirit to give us about 5 different cards explaining what's the message all about today. What's the situation at hand? So Spirit, for my lovely pile number 1s, could you explain to me with 5 different cards, or expand on the cards I've already drawn from the oracle decks? What's the urgent guidance? What's the situation at hand that they need to hear about? Please, 5 cards. Thank you. All right. Let's see what pops out. For sure, that one. 1, 2, 3. I think that one 4. And what should we pick for the last one? How about this one? Looks like it's sticking out. 5. All right, my lovely pile number 1s. Okay, get my ducks in a row. Over here, let's look at your oracle cards first, as is the tradition on the channel. First up, we have the Folklore Oracle, and you received today, it looks like, the Headless Rider. Okay, so this isn't technically nature-themed. This Folklore Oracle kind of has a blend of both supernatural folklore things and nature, but as you all know, the Headless Rider is very common across many different cultures. Of course, the most familiar one, I think, at least in the Western world, is the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I believe there is a legend similar to this in Scotland, things like that. So the Headless Rider in this particular deck is a card about impulsivity, thinking before you act, or the difference between being spontaneous, taking risks that are measured, versus impulsivity and taking risks that are not measured. It's almost kind of like, if you're familiar with the Fool card in tarot, very Fool energy vibes here with this particular card. So we'll expand on that a little bit more later, but that's just a quick summary I like to give of each card as I pull them from the piles. Okay. Next up, we have the Woodland Wardens. This will be an animal and plant deck. You received, looks like the, oh, not a weasel, I was going to say weasel, the marten and foxglove. And this particular card is about mischief. Okay, something being mischievous afoot. Okay. A little bit of Seven of Swords vibes from tarot. Sneaky, sneaky, mischievous. Something coming up that you're not expecting. Okay. So we'll put that one up here, actually. We're going to center these a little bit. I always apologize to my pile number ones because you're kind of my guinea pigs for the set out of the layout. So thank you for being my guinea pigs, pile number ones. You're my brave leaders. Okay. Nature's Whispers for today is be true to your heart. I've been getting this a lot in readings lately for my channel. Be it true to your heart, navigating based on what you feel deep down. It's almost kind of like an intuition vibe, but more so with the aspect of what really draws you forward in your goals with your heart rather than what you're being told to do, rather than what you think you should do. It's more leaning into the water energy of like the cups of emotions, right? What do I feel? What draws me forward with my heartstrings? That type of thing, okay? So, like, once again, we'll expand on that more later as we reveal some more details with your tarot cards. We'll set Nature's Whispers down here to the right. Get these all nice and balanced. We'll make it aesthetically pleasing. All right. Okay, tarot cards. First up, we have the Ace of Swords or Blades reversed. Okay, feeling like we lack an idea or clarity or a lack of communication in some area, though I tend to see the Ace of Swords to be more about ideas than communication. It is the air suit, so yes, feeling like I lack communication, lack an idea. All right. There we go. There's that. Card number 2, we have the Knight of Wands, or Sticks as it's known in this particular deck, reversed. Okay, Knights are the cards of action, taking action. Reversed is either you're not taking action enough in some sort of area, or you want to but can't. And the Wands are about fire, which is passion, willpower, creativity. To translate into one sentence, it's like, I cannot take action with my passion or my willpower. Sometimes it can kind of mean confidence too. So I think what's going on is it almost feels like, of course the other cards will reveal more nitty-gritty details, but it's like the feeling of being confused and not sure about some area of your life where you're not sure what direction to take or what action to take towards happiness. I don't know if it's something to do with your career, some goal of yours. Okay, let's see what else pops out before I get to it in the weeds. Okay, the Four of Wands, another fire card. Four of Wands is all about home, celebration, sometimes partnership with marriage, hence the celebration at home type of vibe, right? Home. Okay. Something with home. Where do I feel comfortable? Okay. A lot of fire energy. Interesting. See if any other wands come out. Let's see. We have the Major Arcana. We have from the Cuyahoga I butchered that pronunciation. Valley National Park. Hangman reversed. Hangman is all about different perspectives. Reversed is asking for more of viewing things from a different perspective. Okay. Oftentimes reversals are asking for more of that energy, or it's like saying there's a lack of energy of that card's symbolism in that area. Okay. I know I'm just spouting off meanings here, but I will get to a cohesive message as I always do. And then we have the Nine of Cups or Vessels. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. Nine of Cups is I am satisfied. Sometimes the original depiction of this in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is someone looking very smug with his cups all around him. That feeling of I have what I need, I got what I want, and all is good. So, to put this cohesively together, my lovely pile number ones, okay, so the urgent guidance from nature here is there's some area of your life where you have been seeking happiness, as we all do. I mean, that applies to everybody. Everybody wants happiness, right? No one wants sadness, right? You've been seeking happiness. There's some sort of goal you've been trying to attain. And the matter at hand, though, is you're not sure what step to take. You're not sure whether or not moving forward is a acceptable risk, or is it too risky and you're not sure you should take that step forward? Does that kind of make sense, pile number ones? And the reason I say that is not only because you got the Headless Rider, which we talked about when I first pulled it out. That's the card of impulsivity. That's the card of, do I take a risk? Have I thought about this enough before I take that step forward? Also, with the Mischief, the Marten, and the Foxglove card, it almost feels like you might think it's almost too good to be true. Like, that's the aspect of the Mischief coming about. You're like, okay, is there something sneaky afoot here? Am I just, is someone just blowing smoke at me? Just to put it in nice, friendly YouTube terms, you know what the full phrase is, but is someone blowing smoke at me, right? Is this the right step to take? Okay. Should I really go forward with this? Should I really be true to my heart here? Is this the right direction to go? Especially emphasized by not only the Ace of Swords reversed here, but also the Knight of Wands reversed right next to it, okay? Those are the cards of, I feel like I'm lacking an idea or clarity, and I'm not sure I should take action on my passions. It encapsulates what those two cards mean, especially right next to each other. I tend to see them next to each other, or, similarly, any Ace or any Knight next to each other is about not sure about how to go forward and take action with something new, okay? Because the Aces are all about newness, the beginning of a journey, and the Knights are all about taking action, like I said before, okay? So you're really confused. You're like, I'm not sure. Is this too good to be true? Am I being impulsive? I really want this thing. It'll make me happy. I'll be true to my heart, but I'm not sure. I'm lacking clarity. I feel like I'm not confident enough with that Knight of Wands reversed, that type of vibe, right? But what's stopping you from completely dismissing the idea, I think, pile number ones, is this Four of Wands right here. Also, the Nine of Cups at the end, though I think that's more predictory. I tend to see, like, the way at least I do tarot readings is, like, the more predictory future cards are to the right. But here in the middle is the core of the issue, the Four of Wands. This is the card of home. This is the card of, like someone making a fire in a cold forest. You can see here with the depiction of this particular version. Okay. This thing that you're hesitant about is your home. Okay, and I don't mean literally, it could literally mean your house. It could be maybe you're thinking about moving. Okay, maybe it is literally your house. But what I'm seeing here for you, pile number ones, is this thing is your home to you. Okay, this is what makes you comfortable. And that's why it would bring you the happiness that you're seeking. Because wherever you're at right now that you're thinking about leaving, or leaving behind, I guess I should say is a better way to phrase that, does not feel like home to you. You don't feel comfortable there. It is not your bonfire in the cold forest. What you're seeking, the thing you're thinking about moving forward towards, is. You want that warmth, okay? You want what sparks your soul and makes you come alive, right? That type of thing. So what's happening here, I think, pile number ones, I'm also going to pull some more cards from the tarot deck for advice, okay? In terms of how to kind of go forward with this, because this is more about what's going on right now. Context, right? But like I said, I tend to read the right hand cards of these tarot readings as predictory future type vibes, right? So the Hangman reverse, like I said, is a card all about needing a different perspective on something, okay? Needing a different perspective. And even sometimes it can mean sacrifice, okay? Needing more sacrifice into something, okay? And like I said before, the Nine of Cups right next to it is all about wish fulfillment, being smug in a positive way. The smug is kind of a negative connotation, but when I say smug with this, it's like a happy, emotional fulfillment smug, like, I got everything I need, I'm happy, things are great, right? You're wanting to get there, but what's happening is like I said, there's this hesitation of, do I follow my heart? Is it too good to be true? Am I just being an impulsive idiot about it? Like, and what Spirit is saying here with the Hangman reversed, I think, pile number ones, is you need to look at this, or you're being encouraged to. I like emphasizing free will. You never have to do what a tarot reading tells you. I will never say that you have to do it, but you're being highly encouraged, we'll put it that way, to look at this from a different perspective. Okay? I'm going to draw some cards on that to see kind of like what's the general perspective shift they want you to go for. I can kind of guess already it's something to do with, hey, this is the thing that makes you comfortable and cozy. This is the thing that makes you happy, hence happiness. Look at it from the perspective of following your heart rather than being afraid. All right? Because you know what? Every time in life, I personally have had a struggle between this is the logical thing to do and this is what my heart wants me to do. It has been terrifying. I mean, I'm sure you probably highly relate, everyone out there, everyone on planet Earth, right? It is highly terrifying to go from this area of I feel comfortable or secure here in what I already have, but I'm not really happy, so I might want to go forward with this other thing that actually makes me happy, but what about security? Like, it causes a lot of anxiety, right? Okay. But that's the thing, is with the Nine of Cups here. You know, that's the card of emotional fulfillment. That's the card of I'm smug with where I'm at, positive connotation. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm having a grand old time. Okay, especially with the cups, because those are that's the suit of water, and the suit of water is emotions and our heart in tarot. Okay, you really, really, really want this deep down. Okay, especially with be true to your heart. You really want this. It's just that there's a requirement, or highly encouraged, right, free will, of a perspective shift here with the Hangman reversed to reconsider what you consider comfort. That Four of Wands, that home. Okay. So let us pull, I'm going to pull some tarot cards on what's the perspective shift being encouraged here. Spirit, for my pile number ones, could you tell me more about how you would highly encourage them to change their perspective on this situation? Like, how would you recommend they think about it instead of the way that they have been thinking about it? Can you give me like 2 or 3 cards, please? Okay. Oh, definitely that one and that one, and I feel like that one in the middle right there. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. I have to turn my timer back on. I have a timer for my videos, so I make sure I don't go over time. Okay, so let's look at what you've been given here, pile number ones. What's the perspective shift they're encouraging? How do they want you to kind of look at it, right? We have the Lovers. Beautiful. Niagara Falls State Park. Never been there. It looks gorgeous. Would love to go there someday, right? The Lovers, okay. Traditionally, what it says on the tin, this can mean, you know, a partnership, right? But another traditional interpretation of the Lovers in tarot is choices we make, okay? Harmony is another interpretation I personally like to attribute to the Lovers, right? What's a good partnership for your soul? What matches with your soul, okay? Number 2, we have another major arcana. Look at that. The Emperor reversed with Yosemite National Park. Okay, the Emperor reversed is masculine in the negative, or asking for more masculine energy. Plain terms, logic, authority, structure. Okay. I already kind of know this is something about Spirit telling you that you... I think you don't give yourself enough credit, pile number ones, for as organized as you are. I feel like you think that you're more messy and spontaneous or impulsive than you actually are. I think you've got more plans down and you've got more control over the situation than you think you do, okay? Let's get your 3rd card down before I ramble too much on that, though. I have that tendency sometimes. I'm like, ooh, card, I want to talk about this for 3 hours, and then I still have like a card unveiled in my hand. Anyways, okay, 3rd card. We have the King of Wands reversed. Okay, pile number ones. The Kings are external mastery or manifestation of their element, which is fire with the wands or the sticks, okay? This is the card of I am confident. I am charismatic. I am fully secure in externally expressing or manifesting my passions, my willpower. Okay? Reversed can mean, I'll just say it on the tin, you need to be more confident. That's what the King of Wands reverse means in a reading like this, pile number ones, all right? You also have a lot of major arcana. I always say this in my readings. I mean, not only do you have the Hanged Man, you have the Lovers and the Emperor, right? Not the majority of the readings. So I think, okay, well, I'll get back to brass tacks. When I see a lot of major arcana in a reading, pile number ones, I tend to attribute that to this is a major life lesson that you're learning. This is something in terms of, you know, personally, I believe that our souls are in a university here on Earth, right? And a life lesson is like a major class for your soul. that you were put here to learn. I think this is a struggle you've tended to have over your lifetime. I don't think it's a major life lesson. I think it's more of a minor life lesson, just because not that many major arcana came out versus minor arcana came out. I can't talk today, apparently. But it's like a smaller life lesson for your soul in being confident with yourself, in finding what your soul is in tune with and in harmony, in believing, being confident in your ability to plan ahead, to be structured. Okay, things that the Emperor is masculine energy. That's the card of power, authority, logic, structure. It's creating a pattern out of the chaos of the universe, right? That's that masculine energy. Being able to, I don't want to say put things in boxes because that's like a negative connotation, but being able to organize and handle things, right? That's kind of what it means. Having structure or authority to it, right? So to summarize pile number 1, the perspective shift that Spirit is encouraging you to move towards is to not think of this as, well, I feel impulsive. You know, I feel like I'm just following my heart and there's not enough logic in this choice. You know, I'm not sure if I have the right perspective on this. I'm not sure I'm confident enough. Spirit is saying throw that in the garbage, okay? Lovingly. Throw that self-doubt in the garbage where it belongs, okay? And know that, yes, this is something in harmony with who you are deep down and what you want, what you yearn for, okay? You have plenty of logical and structural organizational power here with that Emperor reversed to handle it. And with the King of Wands reversed, you are highly encouraged to recognize, to be more confident in yourself, pile number 1s. Okay, you're not deceiving yourself. You're not being impulsive. All right. You have it down pat. It's just that you don't believe in yourself enough. That's how I would summarize your reading. Okay. I also want to pull maybe 3 more cards of general advice in the future on this situation, if Spirit could do that. So Spirit, lovingly for my pile number 1s, could you give me maybe 3 cards of advice on for how to, like, I know we talked about the perspective shift, right? That Hanged Man reverse, but can you tell me more about advice in general on moving forward with this issue in the future, please? 3 cards, 2 cards, maybe something like that. Yes, you have to believe in yourself more, pile number 1s. And I know I say that in a lot of my readings on my channel, but honestly, that is a major problem I've noticed tends to plague a lot of us here on Earth, is not believing in ourselves enough, right? So let's see, 1, I think that 1, 2, 3. Of course, that's something I've personally struggled with, and I tend to believe that a lot of the reasons people are drawn to my channel is because we're in kind of a similar soul circle of similar issues that we can discuss with each other, right? So anyways, general advice here for you, pile number 1s, in this issue in the future. We have number 1, look at that, another major arcana, the Hierophant tradition. This is Redwood National and State Parks. West coast of the US, I believe, redwoods, yep. Sequoias. So anyways, I'll put my hiking nerdiness away. Excuse me. The Hierophant tradition, what is passed down, okay? Look at the history of how you've dealt with matters like this in the past, and I think you're going to recognize, pile number 1s, you handle things like this a lot better than you think you do. I just don't think you give yourself enough credit, okay? That's the card of tradition, what's been done in the past, okay? Look at the past issues similar in your life where you've handled this just fine with flying colors, okay? And that will help turn that King of Wands reversed into an upright of, I'm perfectly confident. Okay. We have the 6 of Wands reversed. Okay, 6 of Wands is usually about victory. Once again, reversed is like needing to emphasize victory more. Kind of what I just said. I mean, it's the same thing on the 10, right? Look at the history with the tradition of the Hierophant, right? Of where you've had victories in the past. You're not acknowledging your successes and your strengths enough, pile number 1s, okay? And then last but not least, we have the King of Pentacles, King of Stones. Isn't this just the most beautiful card? Gorgeous. All right. King of Stones or Pentacles, external mastery of Earth, which is physical security. manifestation of things here on Earth, right? I'm comfortable with what I have in terms of material. Okay, also really, really good card for if you're looking for a business venture or something to do with career. This is a flashing neon sign that you're going to be just A-okay, okay? That's how I would put that for you, pile number 1s, all right? So general advice in the future with this situation. Look at the tradition of how many victories you've had in the past regarding this. I think, I say this a lot on my channel, I think you might have, it's called imposter syndrome. It's the feeling like an imposter with what you're able to do. You feel like I'm never good enough. I feel like I'm deluding other people in terms of how good I am at other things. I feel like I am a loser, or I feel like I can't actually do what I can do. That's what imposter syndrome is. Or, I mean, look it up on the internet. People, they probably put it more eloquently than I can. But I feel like you have imposter syndrome, pile number 1s, okay? If this is a business venture you're thinking about doing, do it. Okay? Look in the past at victories you've had that you're not recognizing enough, and know that your physical security going forward with that King of Pentacles will be just fine should you choose to go on this path, which I think you're being highly encouraged to by Spirit here, okay? So yes, just to summarize your reading, there's something that you've really been seeking, deciding to make a choice towards happiness, towards something that makes you more comfortable with that 4 of Wands we talked about earlier, right? Pile number 1s. The issue at hand, though, is you think you're being too impulsive. You don't think you're good enough. You think there's mischief afoot. You think something is blowing, either the universe or someone else maybe who introduced the idea to you is blowing smoke at you, right? And so you're confused. You're like, I'm not good enough. I don't think I can manage it. I don't think it'll work out, blah, 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 self-doubt, just to summarize, right? But what Spirit is saying is, look at the past successes in this area. And I think you're going to find that you have a lot more victory than you think you do. I think you just don't really, like, clap yourself on the back enough or pat yourself on the back enough, pile number 1s, okay? And just know that should you choose to go on this path, which you're being highly encouraged to, following your heart, right? Be true to your heart, as this card says over here. Maybe watch Mulan. I don't know if any of you have seen Mulan before, but there's like that. I love this song, but it's very 90s. It's at the end of Mulan in the credits. It's like cheesy 90s pop. True to your heart, watch Mulan. There you go. There's a good movie. Believe in yourself, pile number 1s, okay? Be true to your heart. Follow what makes you feel at home and comfortable. What's your bonfire in a cold forest for you, pile number 1s, and follow that and know that you have the power and the skill and the capability to reach your dreams, okay? This is a very positive reading here in terms of, and I don't sugarcoat. If there's negative things that come out, I'll say it, right? Which, on the other hand, means that when really positive things come out, you can trust me to say, you're going to be just fine, pile number 1s. Just reach for your dreams. Throw self-doubt in the garbage where it belongs, okay? You're perfectly capable, and I think you'll find success should you choose to go on this path, okay? So, pile number 1s, as always, I hope that reading was helpful for you today. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, okay? Believe in yourself. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 2s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of urgent guidance delivered by nature. We have all our nature-themed decks on the desk today. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile was the lovely Blessings. We have, it looks like maybe a canary, some sort of golden bird. I want to say a goldfinch, but it doesn't have the black markings of a goldfinch. Either way, a pretty yellow bird. Looks like cherry blossoms over a holy spring. Okay, blessings pouring forth. So before I get into the weeds too much on the meaning of that card, let's pull out your other cards and we'll talk about what they all mean in tandem together. So we'll set your pile leader off towards the place of respect over here by the big pine cone as always. And then, of course, I drew some oracle cards as always. We'll talk about those in a second, and then I want to pull your tarot cards first on screen for you pile 2s. So, Spirit, for my lovely pile number 2s, could you give me 5 cards explaining more about the context of what guidance they're being given today, okay? What's going on? What do you want to say? 5 cards, please. Thank you. Oh, okay, well. Spoiler alert, the first one popped out. We had the 3 of Swords, it looks like. All right, we'll talk about that. And oh, there's actually 2. Never mind. You have the Knight of Wands and the 3 of Swords. We got a sneak peek of those. All right, so 2. And then we have 3. It was definitely that one popping out. 4. And I think that one 5. Okay, we got a sneak peek. We'll talk about your tarot cards in a second. Let's look at your oracle cards, okay? So, first up, we have the Folklore Oracle, which I lied a little bit about the decks today. This deck also talks about supernatural folklore. Sometimes it does have nature messages, though, so we'll see if maybe a nature one pops out, but it's nature-y enough, right? Anyways, without further ado, your card is... Okay, we do have a little bit more of a supernatural one, the Boo Shah, which is funny as the word might kind of sound. This is basically the boogeyman, or the bogeyman. The creepy thing that skitters under your bed at night when you're a child, right? Or at least children tend to imagine them, right? Scary, scary. So this card in this particular deck usually means fear and anxiety. What makes us afraid? What's real and what's not in terms of what our anxiety makes us worry about, okay? What is the boogeyman in your life that might just be the shadow under your bed and not real? Okay, that's kind of what that card means in a nutshell, right? So, a little bit of a supernatural vibe to the readings today. I think pile number 1 had a supernatural creature too, but anyways, okay, so then we have Woodland Wardens. We received the snake and fern starting over. The fern often is, it's more of a low-growing plant in the forest, right? Low-growing plants tend to be some of the first to grow, I think, after, say, like a forest fire, okay? And then generally the trees grow later, and of course it takes them years to grow and, get taller. But the ferns are, low to the ground. They're the new beginnings of a forest. And then, of course, the snake is oftentimes means rebirth because of the way it sheds its skin, okay? Hence starting over. All right. We have a little bit of a theme here. Let's see. Then your nature's whispers is be gentle with yourself. Okay. We have, looks like pansies, deer, mushrooms. Not sure what bird that is. It looks more of a fantastical bird. Be gentle with yourself. Okay, you're not made of titanium. I mean, you can be in terms of, us as human beings. We can be very, very tough when we have to be. But other times in life, part of striking the balance is knowing when to be made of silk, metaphorically speaking. Okay, we don't always have to be titanium. Sometimes we can be silk. We can be vulnerable. We can be emotional. We can be sad. We can take time for ourselves with self-care, right? We don't always have to be tough. We don't always have to take the beatings of life with, feeling like it's not affecting us or trying to make it seem to others that it's not affecting us, okay? So, anyways, tarot cards, and then I'll talk more about your message in whole. First up, we have the Knight of Cups, or Vessels. Knight of Cups. Knights are taking action. Cups, or water, is emotion. Taking action on how we feel, kind of like I was just saying with be gentle with yourself. You don't always have to hide your emotions away and have titanium skin, okay? All right. Number 2, we have the another cups, 2 of vessels. 2 of cups oftentimes can mean harmony. It can mean, especially in relationships, it can mean a relationship itself. We have 2 people working together on a canoe or a kayak, sometimes it's known as. There might be a difference. Anyone out there who canoes or kayaks, feel free to, in the comments, correct me, but canoe or kayak, whatever. Working together to tread the waters of life, right? Harmony, relationships. A lot of water. Interesting. Okay. Especially, I mean, even your blessings card, your pile leader, has the Holy Spring, water pouring forth. We have we have some fire with the wands here, sticks. 8 of Wands reversed is about going slow about something, or maybe wanting something to happen faster. We'll see what else pops out to give that more context. We have some cute little beavers, right? I love beavers. They're so cute. Anyways, okay, we have another Wands, fire. Knight of Sticks, Knight of Wands is all about taking action with our passions, our willpower. Okay. God, this deck is gorgeous. Anyways, we have and that, spoiler alert, is the 2 that popped out earlier. 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords is about pain, traditionally. This deck doesn't always depict it with the traditional meaning, but 3 of Swords is usually about pain. I am hurt. Okay, so pile number 2 is, there is a theme here about being hurt or emotional about something and feeling like you have to hide those feelings deep down. Feeling like I have to be made of titanium. I have to be tough. I have to be strong. I don't know if in your life you maybe have struggled with others not they're not willing to acknowledge your feelings or telling you just to tough it out. Or, the common thing that happens is, depending on the parenting style of how you were raised, right? Some parents, when a kid is hurt, they'll just say, rub some dirt in I can't talk today, rub some dirt in it and get over it, right? Fortunately, sometimes there's parents that do, people that don't acknowledge their pain. And so people grow up thinking, my pain is not worthy of acknowledgement, right? Okay. Unfortunately, like I said before. So I think pile number 2 is, not getting too much into the psychology of your background. What's affecting you right now in the present is you're not acknowledging your feelings, and or you are, but you feel like you can't emphasize or express them. There's some matter in your life where it's like you feel like expressing your feelings about a certain situation, whatever the situation at hand is for you, is that scary bogeyman hiding under your bed, the boo-boo shock, right? It's that thing creeping in the corner, kind of gross and ugly looking, right? The boogeyman, right? The symbolic essence of anxiety, right? That says expressing your emotions is scary, okay? Expressing your emotions, and maybe you've learned over time to be get better about it in general in your life, but what nature or spirit is saying here is there's a particular issue in your life where you're not expressing your feelings enough. You're being too tough about it, okay? And not as a waggy finger of, you need to cry more or whatever. Like, well, it's not even necessarily crying, but what it means is it's healthy for you to relook at and analyze the way you express your feelings, okay? I think maybe you tend to bottle them up because of this. Especially with the snake and fern coming out, right? This is almost a card of, particularly in this reading for you, pile 2, this is a card of relearning a way to live your life with starting over, okay? And then 2, with your pile leader, we have blessings here. I'm sorry, it's a little bit covered, but remember when I first pulled it out, we talked about there's a holy spring. There's water welling up underneath the bird here. That is almost like emotions coming to the surface that have been stuck underground, metaphorically speaking, for so long. All right. Spirit is saying it's something to do with your relationships, I think, with the 2 of Cups. Okay. Maybe that, if you're in a romantic partnership, maybe you've had a partner that is asking for more vulnerability and emotional expression, and maybe your natural state is to be tough. Okay, maybe there's feelings about this relationship that you feel deep down, but you're stuffing the feelings away because they're uncomfortable to deal with. That could be one meaning, okay? It could also mean in general, to attract more healthy relationships into your life. Not to feel that expressing yourself and feeling your emotions is a scary bogeyman, but to really see it in a different way of being honest with other people, okay? Emphasizing clear communication, because a lot of times in relationships, we can hold things back because we feel like if I don't hold back, the other person will judge me, or I might hurt the other person if it's an emotion I'm feeling that's negative towards them, towards something they're doing. Like, just as a lighthearted example, let's say you have a friend that does something that's really annoys you, right? None of us are perfect. There's things that we do that annoy others. I think all of us, right? It's just different personalities clashing. Even so, you can still make good friends out of people that maybe they do, things that annoy you sometimes, and just like you might annoy them sometimes, right? And so deep down, it's like, whenever my friend does this thing, oh God, it just annoys the heck out of me. Like, I wish they would stop doing that because, I'm frustrated and it's putting a strain on our relationship. But you might have that fear, that bogeyman saying, well, if I tell my friend that annoys me, I'm going to hurt their feelings, okay? But what Spirit is saying is whatever the situation might specifically be for you, the friend with an annoying quirk was just an example, right? It's good in this situation to be more honest with how you feel, especially with the Knight of Cups being taking action on your emotions, okay? In relation to your relationships, okay? You know, I mean, there's sometimes people do things that, you know, irk us a little bit, and it's so minor that it's you think, well, oh, whatever, I'll just gloss it over, right? This is talking more about things that are major, I think, because you did get the Three of Swords over here. The card of pain, okay? This thing pains me, okay? And if there's an area of your life where something is really paining you in terms of your relationships with others with that Two of Cups piled number twos, okay? Something is really paining you and you just have been either trained yourself or psychologically trained to stuff your feelings down and don't, you know, I gotta be a wallflower, I don't want to rock the boat, right? I mean, funny, you know, don't rock the boat with the Two of Vessels, right? Well, even here with the Knight of Vessels too, you have people sailing, right? I don't want to rock the boat. Sometimes you have to rock the boat because you, just like anybody else, deserves to have boundaries. You deserve to express yourself just as anyone else does, okay? You deserve to have, like, feel like you have the right to minimize your pain, okay, or try to lower your pain in areas. I think there's areas of your life where you're suffering where you don't have to suffer pile number twos. It's just that you don't want to rock the boat and you feel like I need to be tougher. Okay. That's kind of what I would say in terms of like the summary of this reading. Yeah, and especially this Eight of Wands reversed is interesting because, like I said, that's the card of slowness. Because normally upright, it's the card of, you know, things going fast. Reversed, it's either asking for more speed or thinking like things are going too slow. Okay. If any of you are in currently a situation where you, especially if it's romantic, right, where you think you like the other person and you think they might like you, but things are moving at a glacial pace, okay, I would see this as an encouragement from Spirit to express your feelings more, like we were talking about before, and maybe try to encourage things to go a little faster, okay? That's kind of what I would see there with the Eight of Wands reversed next to a Two of Cups, okay? Same thing, too, with the Knight of Wands right next to it. That's the card of taking action on our passions, okay? So, yeah, if it's a romantic situation that you're kind of been hoping for blessings for in your life recently, pile number twos, take action, okay? Don't be afraid to take action on your emotions with the Knight of Cups. Don't be afraid to take action with your passions, your willpower with the Knight of Wands, okay? Because I think, you know, oftentimes in life, things come to us not as they fall in our laps, but when we have the courage to work past fear and anxiety, our bogeyman, right? Our boogeyman, and reach out and take it, okay? Maybe it's not in your nature to reach out and take. Maybe it's in your nature to deny yourself things and think, well, if it was meant for me, I'm just going to let it fall in my lap. But sometimes the best way to reduce pain, to reduce regret, to reduce a feeling of, the woulda, coulda, shoulda in the future, is to take action now. Even if we feel like we don't deserve it, even if we feel like I need to be tougher, even if we feel, you know, blah, 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 all these negative emotions about, you know, I'm not deserving, oh, I shouldn't rock the boat, etc. So whatever it is that you're seeking in your life, pile number twos, maybe what drew you to pick the blessings card, maybe you're looking for a blessing in your life right now, and that's why you picked that card, this pile, right? Whatever it is, focus on how it makes you feel or what it is that your emotions that you're not acknowledging or other people are not acknowledging, right? Okay. And take action and express those emotions, okay? Because I think you're going to find that there will be a lot more positivity directed back towards you if you acknowledge and or express those emotions, okay? Sometimes, especially if there's a situation in your life where you feel like someone else is not acknowledging your emotions enough, sometimes it's not even they do it out of malice. Sometimes they just don't even know that you're feeling that thing. You know, I struggle with this in my life sometimes where, you know, I'm like, well, how come this other person doesn't get it? You know, how come they don't get it, right? well, they don't get it because they don't even know it's a thing in your life. They don't even know that you're feeling that way. Like some people, you know, I want to say it's you know, it's a two-way street. It's not that they're too dense to get it. Like it's sometimes that maybe we just haven't expressed it enough. Maybe we need to put a little bit of a megaphone to our voices, right? People can't hear what you don't say. All right. That's what this reading is talking about. And I think in general, like if you were to follow this path, of course, I always emphasize free will in my readings. You don't have to take this advice from spirit, right? But if you were to take this path, pile number 2, focus more on I have a voice, I have passions, I have feelings, I want to say things, I want to reduce pain, I want to speak out, hold my boundaries, I want to be gentle with myself, I want to be made of silk sometimes instead of iron, right? It might completely reinvigorate your life here with the snake and fern starting over, okay? Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of wildfire that starts, you know, metaphorically speaking of, oh God, pile number 2 is speaking out. Maybe people aren't used to you speaking out, right? Maybe they're used to you being quiet and walked over and not listened to. So yeah, maybe it starts some sparks, maybe it starts some fire, but you'll find that the new growth afterwards, like new growth after a wildfire, clears out all the old garbage, you know, not that nature is garbage, but you know what I mean? It clears out all the old garbage of, you know, not being listened to create a new field where new things can grow better for you in the future. It can change your life is what I'm saying here with the snake and the fern starting over. And then that's your blessing, okay? It's finally letting that spring, specifically a holy spring with this card, meaning it is of value, right? Holy is of value, it's of spirit, right? Letting that spring well forth, okay? Because it does have value, and you don't have to bottle it up anymore. You can let it flow freely, okay? I want to pull some other cards for you, pile number 2, just some other cards of, you know, I tend to like to do more specific questions. Let's see if there's a specific question that might be most helpful to you. 1 second, I'm going to take a moment of silence. We could talk about where this came from, though I think personally you pile number 2s kind of know where this came from. Usually it's conditioning in childhood, right? How people have treated us, you know, oftentimes the way we treat ourselves is the way other people have treated us, until we grow past that. But let's see, a good question. Okay, I'm going to ask for the other person or people involved that might not be hearing what you're feeling deep down. I'm going to ask why they're not hearing it or why they're not responding. Maybe that'll kind of help give some context. Like I said before, I think most of it is maybe they don't even know you feel that way. Like I said, they can't hear you if you don't speak a word, right? But I'm going to ask spirit for my lovely pile number 2s. For those where there's like other people involved that maybe aren't listening or respecting their boundaries, or they're not hearing, acknowledging their feelings. Can you give me 3 cards detailing why, please? 3 cards, or 2 or 3. One of the 2. 2 or 3. Why? Okay, we have this one, and then this one was kind of popping out next to it, and then I think right there, we'll do that one. Excuse me. Okay, first up we have the 8 of Stones, being hard at work, okay? Putting the work in. The apprenticeship card is sometimes what this means, right? Watering the gardens. Sometimes this can be the card of I'm busy. So maybe it's that the other people or person involved with this that maybe aren't hearing you, aren't getting the message, right? They're just busy. Okay, it's not even a personal thing, I don't think. Sometimes when people are busy, you have to speak louder because they already have so much clamor in their ears that they can't hear you amongst the cacophony of everything else. Okay. That's piece of advice number 1. 7 of Stones reversed. Okay. 7 of Pentacles is what it is. Tends to be the card of planting seeds for the future. Reversed, it's the card of needing to plant more seeds for the future or not planning ahead enough. Sometimes it can mean. Okay. So I think the other person or people involved that maybe aren't hearing you, pile number 2s, is they're not really thinking ahead. They're just living in the day-to-day present because they are so busy, I think, with the 8 of Pentacles being next to it. Like I said, I don't think it's personal. I don't think they're not acknowledging you or seeing the way you feel out of malice. It's just like they're so busy. They're busy and they're like, I got crap on my plate, and it's not personal, right? Okay. And then last, oh yeah, so 10 of Cups reversed. Okay, so the 10 of Cups is usually the emotional fulfillment card. It's the happily ever after, very positive card. Reversed, it's the card of not getting a happily ever after that we were seeking. Okay, sometimes it can mean that. Sometimes it can also mean the card of like not focusing on what makes us most happy. Okay. Okay, so for those of you where it applies that you feel like someone else is not listening to you. Oh, I just recognize with this card, it's like I'll hold it up in the camera here. She's holding her throat like she can't speak. Black throat chakra vibes, right? Yeah. Yes, okay, on your end, yeah, there's responsibility to speak louder and to say what you want to say and feel like you have the right to speak and take up space, right? Take up radio air, metaphorically speaking, yes. But on their end, it's almost like, for those of you where this is a situation where it's like the other person is not listening and you're not getting why, or they're not getting the message and you're just like, well, why the heck aren't they getting it? They're so busy with what they're doing in their life that it's not personal, but they're just not focusing on happiness involved with the 10 of Cups reverse. They're focusing on, okay, I got crap I gotta do. I'm so mired in watering, tending my garden, metaphorically speaking, of their life, that they're not thinking about planting seeds for the happiness of the future. Okay, so especially if this is a romantic relationship, pile number 2s, I don't think it's personal. I just think whoever this is really busy right now. If they stopped, and I don't know, I don't want to say they're dense because that's really negative, but like, I don't know if this other person involved, for those of you who this applies to, I don't know if they tend to get mired in the weeds of life a lot and they don't really think ahead. They're just kind of in the present of, I got to do this, I got to do that, I'm so busy. Or like, kind of along the lines of, okay, and I say affectionately dense, right? Especially if this is romantic, maybe they don't even like understand that you have feelings for them. You know, if this is like a new relationship you might be looking at, right? They're not even thinking of it in terms of happily ever after or like emotional fulfillment right now. They're just thinking of, I got work to do, like the 8 of Pentacles right there. So affectionately, maybe they're just a little bit so focused on other things that with you they're a little bit dense. Positively, affectionately saying. They're not stupid, they're busy. So affectionately, I want to emphasize, like I said before. So yes. And then I want to see if there's any other questions I should ask for you. I did do 2 questions for pile number 1, so I want to be fair to every pile today. I could ask where this stems from, like I said, but I feel like most of you already kind of know. Let's see. I'll ask, what's the way that you should express yourself more? Spirit, for pile number 2 is, could you give me 2 or 3 cards explaining maybe advice on how they should express themselves more for the most success in what they're seeking? Yeah, let's ask that. How should they express themselves more to guarantee the most success in what they're seeking in the action of saying things? Okay, 1, 2, and I want to say that one right there, 3. Okay. All right, number 1, we have the Empress, feminine energy. We have Olympic National Park. Feminine energy, nurturing. Okay, so speak from a place of comfort, of nurturing, of I care. Okay. You know, when it is that you do decide, or if you do decide to express yourself more, think about what you're saying in terms of the comfort or the nurturing of both yourself and others. Okay, that's number 1, motherly energies, the Empress, right? We have the Page of Swords reversed. Pages are explorers. Okay, they're exploring their suit. They're just new to it. And these swords are air. Okay. So reversed is asking for more, I would say, come from a perspective of curiosity. Okay. So we have nurturing and care with the Empress, but also emphasizing your curiosity. So like, for example, if there is a situation where, like, say this is a romantic thing where you're interested in someone else, but they're kind of like affectionately dense about your feelings, lovingly to them, right? Maybe ask some exploratory questions. Okay. Like curious questions. Maybe be a little bit, not mischievous about it, but be maybe a little, I don't know, is coy the word? Coy? A little cunning in a positive way, not tricky, of course. That's what I would say with the Page of Swords reversed in this situation. And then we have Death reversed with Death Valley National Park. Death reversed is not as scary as it looks, right? Typically it's the card of rebirth, moving into new cycles, okay? Reversed, it's about we're still in one cycle, not moving on to the next yet, especially if this is romantic for you, pile number 2s. Maybe talk about, like, you know, if you've known this person for a long time, be like, hey, you know, we've been friends for quite a long time. It seems we really get along, like that type of thing. Or it could also be emphasized in the way of, like, what's a good example? Let's see, Death reversed. Okay, especially next to the Page of Swords reversed, which is like intellectual curiosity, exploring that. I would say kind of venture into topics you haven't really discussed with them before. You know, maybe part of the problem is, like, you know, even if it's not necessarily romantic, is you just haven't brought up the certain thing that you've been seeking or you've been curious about before, okay? There's something about, like emphasizing the stage that you're both at might help turn that death reversed into a death upright of moving into the next phase of whatever it is you're seeking, okay, or whatever it is you want with this person, right? All right. So emphasize nurturing, emphasize intellectual curiosity, bring up the phase that you're at, okay? And talk about how you've been here in this phase with them, okay? Or even if it's not romantic, like let's say it's, you know, someone at your work that, what's a good example? Maybe you're a little frustrated with your relationship with this coworker at work. You know, maybe they're not the nicest person, or maybe they're, you know, insert thing here, right? If you have to come to a confrontation with them about expressing your pain with them, okay, come at it with, hey, I'm talking to you about this because I care, because I want us to both be nurtured, okay, in this relationship, in terms of us to get more growth out of this, okay, instead of just being in this stagnant, you know, we hate each other's guts energy, right? Moving on to the next phase here. And then, like with the Page of Swords reverse with this work example, that would be like an emphasis on saying to this person at work, you know, I think that our ideas, that our communication is stifled because of these lingering emotions. So I'm bringing this up so we can turn that into a more brainstorm focused, positive, idea generating nature at work, rather than, you know, us just being mad at each other, that type of thing. Okay. So pile number 2 is, as always, I hope that reading was helpful for you. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of urgent guidance from nature, or, well, delivered by nature, I should say. As you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was the Misty Alpine Lake with the fog, and of course the title is Illumination. Okay, we have a lot of emphasis on mirror reflections here with the water. You know, fog, mist traditionally symbolically means things being obscured, kind of being mystical. The unknown is another really great word to emphasize what fog, mist represents, right? Okay, so before I get too far in the weeds on the meaning of your card, because of course we want to talk about what it means in tandem with the other cards that pop up for you, I'm going to put your pile leader, as always, over here to the left in the place next to the pine cone. There we go, Illumination. Making things clear. Okay. Of course, we have oracle cards I already pulled for you, but I also want to pull your tarot cards right now on camera. So for my lovely pile number 3's Spirit, could you please send me 5 cards about explaining more about what's the urgent guidance that they need, what's the context, what's going on. Okay, 5 cards, please. Let's see what pops out for us here. We have, let's see, 1, 2, that one wanted to come out with it, 3, 4, and then I think 5 too. That one was popping out as well. So there we go. All right, tarot cards to the right for now. And your oracle cards, let's look at this first. So I did lie just a little bit with the Folklore Oracle. This deck does have nature themes, but it also has supernatural themes, so there might be a little bit of a folklore character that comes out, but we'll see what pops out for you. So from the Folklore Oracle today, you received the Bear Walker. Yep, so more of a supernatural, kind of an equivalent to like a werewolf, sort of a shapeshifter type vibes, right? But what this card technically means in this deck is it's a card warning against envy, okay? Comparison of self to others, you know, what other people have that I don't, and vice versa, that type of feeling. Okay, talk about that more later as your other cards pop out. From the Woodland Wardens Oracle today, you received the Fox and the Ivy. Adaptability. Okay, not only is the fox shown traditionally as a figure of being cunning, of being smart, right? Ivy is a very adaptable plant in that it will curl and wind around and grow around and thrive whatever environment it's in, be it, you know, curling around a fence, growing around a tree, that type of thing, okay? Being adaptable. I make do with what I've got. Yep, okay. And then your Nature's Whispers for today is hope and happiness. What makes me happy? What do I hope for? Also a positive sign that happiness is on the way. This is a kind of a blessing kind of meaning of this card. That if you've been looking for hope and happiness in a certain area, which we'll see with your tarot cards what that area might be, this is generally a good sign, okay? So let's see what else pops out here. All right. Your tarot cards. First up, we have the card of Justice with Big Bend National Park. Kind of what it says on the tin. This is a card of equality, fairness, what is just. Okay, especially with balance here, we can kind of see with the rocks balancing on each other. There we go. Oops, here goes my pen. Number 2, we have the Two of Swords. Two of Blades reversed. Oftentimes about making a choice. Reversed, it can mean I am paralyzed about making a choice. Okay, we have someone trying to teach someone else how to ice skate right here, and she's probably a little nervous about like, how do I move these things forward? I can totally relate. I am very poor at ice skating. I've been in that situation before myself, so not sure what step to take forward, what choice to make. Okay, I'm uncertain, right? We have the Ten of Wands. Okay, traditionally the Ten of Wands means burdens. Okay, this depiction is a little bit more happy, but yes, the Ten of Wands is burdens. What weighs us down? What is too heavy for us to carry? All right. Number 4, we have the Six of Wands reversed. Six of Wands is victory reversed. It can mean acknowledging your victories more. Maybe you don't pat yourself on the back enough for things. Also can mean like feeling like a victory is out of our grasp. And last but not least, we have the Three of Vessels reversed. Three of Cups is about gatherings, social groups. Okay, reversed, it's negative social groups. Okay, or a negative social gathering, maybe, you know, a party gone wrong. That can be a meaning of the Three of Cups reversed, right? So pile number 3 is what's going on here. You have what I call a hammer reading, and a hammer reading is when there are a lot of messages that are very similar across the board that are kind of hammered like a hammer on a nail. So the hammer for you, the nail that is being beat here, is there's a message about being happy with what you have and comparing yourself to others. Okay. The reason I say that is because not only do you have the Bear Walker, which is like a shapeshifter type energy, almost like a werewolf is a traditional depiction maybe more people are familiar with, right? And that's the card of envy in this deck. It's about being happy with what you have, not comparing yourself to others. You know, we also have the card of hope and happiness. What makes me happy? All right. What do I hope for? And then the Fox and the Ivy is about adaptability, making do with what we have. All right. Getting into your tarot cards, right? There's an element of fairness. There's an element of uncertainty. There's an element of burden. There's an element of where's my victory. There's an element of there's a negative social group involved. So to summarize for you, pile number 3 is this hammer reading, as I would say, is nature or spirit is trying to emphasize to you that you, how do I word this best? a good summary is comparison is the theft of joy. That is a quote I love to say. I think it's very applicable to all of our lives. You know, all of us in our lives at one time or another have looked at what something or someone else has and says, or has said to ourselves, I wish I had that too. Okay. I wish I had hope and happiness with this area. I wish I had a victory in this area. Or I think specifically for you, pile number 3 is this isn't so much, I think, comparison being about what other people have. I think it's more comparison about what other people don't have that you do in terms of a burden, because you did get the Ten of Wands here in the middle. Okay, the Ten of Wands is about burdens. Usually the traditional depiction is someone carrying a lot of sticks on their back and they're being overwhelmed, right? I don't know if there's a social group that you're involved in. It could technically be like a work group, pile number 3s, with the 3 of Cups over here. It could also be like an actual social group. It could be your family. Whatever it is, it's like there's a group in your life socially that's not bringing you the most happiness in terms of, like, it's not so much the group being at fault. Like, it's not like they're saying, well, it could be some of them are saying, hey, look at me and look at what I've got that you don't. I mean, that's... childish, but of course, as we all know, sometimes adults can be childish, unfortunately, right? But I think for most of you, this is more so you comparing yourself to other people in this particular group and at least internally feeling like you come up short, okay? Not that that's the truth, but internally you might feel a little bit like, oh man, I wish I had what they had. You know, like I said, everybody in life has felt that at least one way at one time at another, okay? And there's an element, too, here of fairness. It might even be that you're feeling like the other people that you might be comparing yourself to don't deserve what they have. And that might even be true. I mean, you know, like, for example, a situation that comes up every once in a while, unfortunately, is, you know, maybe you see someone or 2 people in a social group that you're in, and one of them is a really great partner to the other, and the other one, maybe you know behind their back is cheating on the nice person, right? And you're thinking, well, gosh darn it, that's not fair to, you know, the person that's being cheated on. And on top of that, the person who's cheating doesn't deserve the other person. Like, that's not fair. You know, like, if I was with that person, I would treat them a lot better because they're a nice person. I wish I had a partner just like that. Or maybe even you like that person that's being cheated on and you feel bad for them, especially because, you know, maybe you have some emotional involvement. Of course, that you wouldn't act on it because, you know, they're in a relationship. But things like that. There's a feeling of unfairness. There's a feeling of, sometimes in life, there's people that don't deserve all of what they get. Okay? You know, like maybe the cheater in this particular example, right? They don't deserve all of what they get. And, you know, maybe a really nice person like you're personally feeling like, well, how come I don't get a nice partner? How come the person that would cheat on somebody gets the nice partner? Okay. There's that feeling of justice there. Okay. You know, how come I get the burdens? How come I don't get the victories? That type of feeling. And that's where the envy comes in with the bear walker here, right? Okay. And it's not a message of spirit wagging a finger at you, okay? Because, like I said before, everybody has been here. I don't care if someone won't admit it. Everybody has envied somebody else for something at one point in their lifetime, okay? I guarantee it, okay? So you're not alone. It's not wagging a finger at you. But what spirit here is saying for you, pile number 3, is sometimes, especially with your Illumination card over here, right? Sometimes there's aspects of things that look shiny and golden on the outside to us that have shadows underneath that we're not seeing, okay? Have you ever, like, for example, have you ever looked at, like, let's say you knew a romantic couple, right? And on the outside, on their social media, their relationship looked absolutely hunky-dory. Everything is shiny and golden. We're perfect for each other. It's Romeo and Juliet, blah, 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 blah. And then later you found out that there was something really twisted and bad about that relationship that didn't come out because they didn't show it on social media. That's kind of what I'm saying, is there being shadows underneath the shiny golden veneer, right? Sometimes what looks like perfection to us that others have really isn't perfection underneath the surface, okay? And this can be more than just romantic relationships. This can be, you know, maybe appearance, okay? Especially in our social media driven world, we might look at other people on social media and be like, God, I wish I had a face like that. I wish I had hair like that. I wish I had a body like that, blah, 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 blah. But we don't think about underneath that, hey, maybe a person, and I'm not saying this across the board, but I have found personally in my life, and even with myself personally, a lot of times when people really focus on their looks and looking good, it's because they feel insecure deep down. Not always, so I'm not saying that across the board, but, you know, that can be, so what I'm saying with that pile number 3 is that shiny veneer of, like, let's say it is comparing, you know, looks from yourself to other people, right? That shiny veneer, the golden sheen of, oh, wow, they're so pretty, or they're so handsome, I wish I looked like them, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, maybe they look really good, but it's hiding an insecurity deep down, okay? Or think about all the money they have to invest in looking that nice. A lot of times looking pretty in our society is how much money you can pour into it, okay? You know, people will get plastic surgeries. People will buy expensive makeup. People will buy expensive clothes. People will invest a lot of money on, you know, maybe a fitness trainer or a nutritionist, or, you know, spending a lot of their free time that they could be spending, you know, doing a different hobby, exercising, right? We don't always look at the cost of what other people have when we compare ourselves to others and wish that we had what they have. That's kind of what I'm saying here. Same thing, like if it's a career, pile number 3s, right? Yeah, maybe someone has the job that you really want or got the promotion you really wanted, but maybe that particular job, actually, you know, that person found out when they got it, or that promotion, it sucks, okay? Maybe they're not happy. Maybe they're not doing, you know, what they wanted to do. Maybe there's some aspect of it that's not what they thought it was. So, that kind of feeling, pile number 3. So what this reading is like I said, it's not a wagging finger of, you know, how dare you envy other people, shame on you, go to the corner with the dunce cap or whatever. Like, Spirit is not saying that. What they're just saying is when you compare yourself to others, there's aspects of how perfect it looks that have cracks underneath the surface, okay? And I guarantee you there's probably something about yourself, pile number 3s, that other people have envied about you, that if they actually, you know, they brought it up, maybe as socially unacceptable as it would be to say, hey, I envy you for this, right? But let's just say in this hypothetical scenario that they did bring it up and said, hey, I really envy you for this. You might tell them, okay, you envy me, but look at the price I paid to get here, or, you know, this is how much effort and investment it takes from me, or, you know, all that glitters is not gold. It's not that great underneath the surface, right? You know, we all have our burdens to carry, and things aren't always what they seem, okay? And so that's kind of what that illumination means with your pile leader here, too. Also, there's another aspect of this reading I want to emphasize to pile number 3 is that I think there's a lot about yourself that you're not giving yourself enough credit for, okay? Not only with the adaptability card that kind of speaks to being able to adapt, like I talked about with the ivy, ivy is a very good plant about making do with what it has, right? And there's strength in that, right? You know, maybe, for example, like let's go back to the example of the couple where one is really nice and one is cheating on the other one and doesn't deserve the nice person in that couple, right? Maybe what's a good, maybe that's not so much of a good example. I want to make sure I emphasize this correctly for you pile number 3s. I'll just say this. Okay, a lot of times in life when we feel we lack things, when we feel we don't have as much as other people, yes, that might be true. But what it does is it teaches us a lesson, wisdom, that the other person that has the thing that we want doesn't learn. Okay, or maybe they'll learn later on in their life, or maybe they already learned it, right? What it teaches you is adaptability, self-reliance. It teaches you how to make do with what you've got, okay? Take the resources that you've got and make the most of them, right? And there's strength and there's beauty in that too, okay? Like let's say you have a friend that was born rich and you were born very poor, right? And so sometimes, you know, you look over at their monetary wealth and you're like, you know, dang, I really wish that I had had life that easy, right? But when the going gets tough, who do you think is going to be, like, let's say this person completely loses all their money in the stock market, right? Or their family does. Or let's say something befalls both of you where it affects you both similarly. Who do you think is going to weather through that hardship more easily? The person that always had everything, or the person like you that already knows what tough times look like and that's just the norm and you know how to make do? Okay, there's strength in knowing adaptability. There's strength in knowing hardship, okay? As much as it sucks, don't get me wrong, oftentimes the greatest teacher of how to be adaptable in life is hardship, okay? So if you're feeling like in your life that, you know, you're comparing to other people, you feel like other people don't have the hardships that you have, yeah, that might actually be true. That's how sometimes the die is cast, okay? Sometimes there's people in life that have their ride a lot easier than you, okay? You know, in terms of, say, money, in terms of, say, looks, in terms of, say, you know, relationships, maybe they get, like, the best partners all the time or whatever, or easily get partners, that type of thing. But there's a lot of value I think you're not recognizing in yourself in knowing how to do with less, or how to get by with less. Pile number 3s, okay? You have a strength and a tenacity that they might not have. And maybe that's part of their life lesson, their soul lesson here on Earth. Pile number 3s. You know, when the going gets tough, you're the type of person that gets going because you know what tough looks like. Whereas other people, you know, who haven't been through as much tough, when the going gets tough, they get wounded a lot more because they haven't built up that same armor that you have had, okay, or you had to. Okay, so this reading is a lot about illuminating what's real and what's not, what's to be envied and what's not, okay? What actually is a burden, what actually is a victory, okay? Especially in terms of your social groups, all right? And then getting back to the Two of Swords reversed over here on the left, like I said, that's the card of feeling like I can't make choices, or I feel unsteady or uncertain about how to move forward. That's just emphasizing more about the feelings surrounding this situation, okay? In terms of, like, what's a good way to explain it? The uneasiness of feeling like their future, of other people you might envy, their future is bright, but mine is not. How can I move forward with certainty? Well, here's the thing. Nobody has certainty, okay? Excuse me, I'm going to cough. My voice is a little bit dry. Apologies, pile number 3s. Nobody has certainty. What looks like 100% likelihood today, what looks like sunshine and rainbows today, might change to a forecast of storms tomorrow for somebody, okay? Same thing on the opposite side. Maybe your life has been storms so far. Maybe it's been a lot of tornadoes even. But that doesn't mean that you won't ever have a day of sunshine, okay? That's kind of what this reading is talking about. Illuminating not only your strength, but illuminating the changeable nature of life. Nothing is constant. Everything changes. You know, everything is born, everything dies, okay? Nothing is ever the same. So believe in the power of change. Believe in the power of life's chaos. Because yes, chaos is scary, right? You know, a lot of times we like order, we like things being stable and secure. But sometimes chaos can bring about good change, okay? So I, like the other piles, I want to get to at least one or two other kind of related questions for you today, pull some cards for that. So let me think of a good question for you, pile number 3s, that might be most helpful to you, okay? Let's see. I want to ask, what are your greatest qualities? I want to focus on building you up, pile number 3s, okay? Spirit, for my lovely pile number 3s, could you tell me what are their greatest qualities that maybe, like, they haven't really looked at? With their pile leader, like, illuminating their greatest qualities. Maybe 2 or 3 cards, please. What are their greatest qualities? Maybe things that even other people envy them for that they don't realize. That's a good question. Okay, we have, let's see, definitely that one, 2, and 3. What are your greatest qualities, pile number 3s? Okay, things that maybe people envy you for you don't know about, right? We have Judgment Reversed, the Grand Canyon National Park. Okay, so Judgment Reversed is often about moving from one phase of life into another, specifically with spirituality. Okay, excuse me, I'm going to cough again. Specifically spirituality. Okay. I think you are wiser, maybe even an older soul than you recognize. I think you're more advanced than other people surrounding you, particularly if this is related to a social group. You've already learned lessons that they haven't learned yet. Okay, that's kind of what judgment means to me, especially reversed. It's asking you to highlight that more. Okay. I think you're farther along than you think you are. Okay, spiritually and maybe even in the material world, right? Number 2, we have the Eight of Stones reversed, Pentacles reversed. This is the card of hard work, normally reversed. It's the card of sometimes it can mean ease, sometimes it can mean asking for more hard work on things. I think another thing people maybe either envy you for, or that you don't just recognize enough in yourself, pile number 3, is the ease at which you do things. I think part of that is your tenacity from the hardships you've gone through, okay? I think you can get going and you can get things done a lot easier than other people, and maybe that's something people envy you for. Maybe even at work, like, for example, maybe you just, like, pile drive through projects like that. Really easy for you, okay? You're someone that knows how to get things done, all right? And then last but not least, we have the 10 of Stones, 10 of Pentacles reversed, usually the card of legacy, okay? Reversed, it's either a lack of legacy or asking for more building of a legacy, okay? Also material fulfillment. This is the card. Sometimes it can mean like we were talking before, especially this is the reading about having come from maybe hardship and feeling like comparing ourselves to others, right? I would say as a positive quality reading, the 10 of Pentacles reversed here is like, what's the best way to put it? I think because you maybe didn't have the same start that other people did, because this is the legacy card, this is what we inherit materially from before, right? The people before us, our family. It's like achieving despite that. Because here's the thing. What do you respect more? Let's say you have 2 people in a race, right? And one person gets a 50-foot head start, and one person has to start at 0. But let's say they both get there at the same time at the finish line. Who are you going to respect more? The person that got the 50-foot head start, or the person that started at 0 but still got there at the same time as the person that got the head start? Probably you're going to respect the person that came from less and had less of a head start that still got there, okay? I think you, like we were saying before, and I'm sorry, this is kind of a hammer reading, it's very similar to what I said before, but being emphasized from spirit here, you know how to make do with a lot less than other people do. You don't need as much or as many resources as other people to get through. Okay, pile number 3. Compare another metaphor I'd like to use is like let's say you and one other person are like generators, right? And for the same power output, you need less fuel to get the same amount of power as another generator needs. Okay, I know it's a really corny metaphor, but that's kind of what I'm seeing here is like, you need less fuel to get the same amount of things done because you know what it's like to make do on less fuel. Okay, metaphorically speaking. That type of thing. I think you're a lot more advanced spiritually with judgment reversed here. And you know, and typically with reversals here in terms of describing people, I almost see it's like they're emphasizing you should recognize these things more, okay? I think you have a lot more to you than you think you do. I think you lack more than you do. Yes, maybe you don't have the really hot bombshell sexy fiance that your friend does. Okay, that's really nice and they're perfect, right? Maybe you don't have the promotion someone at work got that you really wanted. Maybe you don't have the money that one of your friends came from, or the background one of your friends came from, let's say. But there's a lot to you that you do have, okay, that you're not recognizing. So one exercise I'd like to emphasize And I apologize because I did, for the other piles, I did technically read 2 extra questions for them, but I think for you, pile number 3 is what I'm going to do is instead of a second extra question, I'm going to talk about advice. I think a really good exercise for you to do, pile number 3, is meditation. I always say that on my channel. I regurgitate that advice all the time. Meditate. But number 2, I think if you were to go and take a journal, right, take a piece of paper, whatever, write it on anything, back of your hand even if you have to, and list down the things that you have that other people don't. Okay, I think there's a lot that you're not looking at because maybe it isn't a quality that isn't necessarily like emphasized or appreciated by society. Okay, we don't really look at, I mean, yeah, people will acknowledge like, hey, look, someone did really well with what they had and they succeeded despite, you know, maybe setbacks earlier in life, you know, but at least in terms of like visible qualities, you know, on social media, no one's going to say, hey, look at what I did with how little I had. They're going to say, hey, look at my, you know, look at my Tesla and look at my nice house and look at my hot fiance or whatever, insert thing here, my nice clothes. I don't care, whatever. Very superficial things. I think there's a lot to you that is not superficial that you need to acknowledge and respect and appreciate and pat yourself on the back for pile number 3s. Okay, so take a journal, take a piece of paper, take a pen, pencil, write down what it is that you have that these people you're comparing yourself to don't. Because based on this reading, I think there's a lot that you're just not looking at. And maybe it's even out of self-esteem. Maybe you don't hype yourself up enough. I mean, of course, you know, you don't want to be too over egotistical, but I think most of the time for most people that at least I've come across in my life, and especially in my tarot readings, I think usually the issue is not, hey, don't be too egotistical. It's you don't have enough self-esteem. Okay. Look at self-esteem boosting exercises. Okay. Pile number 3s. Pat yourself on the back more for how far you've come based on where you've been. Okay. You know, we all have a different life to live here on Earth. We were all put here on Earth, at least in my belief, to learn different lessons. And your lesson is going to be very different than the person next to you that maybe you're comparing yourself to. And I think based on what I've seen so far, your soul might even come out stronger than theirs for it. Of course, all souls are equal, but some of us learn harder lessons in our current incarnations than others around us. All right. And maybe even part of your role in the lives of these other people is to show those lessons to them through the example of just living the life you do every day. And in that, you have inherent value just by being who you are and being strong despite where you've come from and what you've gone through, okay? So pile number 3s, as always, I hope that reading was helpful for you. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye.